But the stock of the day is Mad Paws. I just wanted to take it to the small end of the market. I wanted to stay away from lithium, truth be known. And I did notice this quarterly coming from Mad Paws. Revenue up 41% on the previous corresponding period at $6.5 million. It says that it expects to have positive underlying earnings for the June quarter and to be earnings positive across the whole company in the next quarter. So it's got cash for around $3 million as of the end of June. And it says that it remains very focused on its pet chemist range, its private label products, and its marketplace as well. So stock of the day is Mad Paws. Bit cheeky of me to pick this because whilst it plays to Luke's strengths, I know you don't like companies necessarily that haven't been around for 10 years or more, but do you own or do you have the pleasure of a pet in your home?
No, ours died. the dog died a few years ago. My wife was so depressed about it. It was a Bichon Frise. We haven't been allowed to get another one. It was like a child, and I said, I'd like another dog. No.
Yeah, well, see, like a child, and that's why I thought we might have something to talk about with you about this one, Mark.
No.
I mean, some people call it a mega trend, caring for our pets. We might cut back on other spending,
actually,
but you're going to continue.
Because sometimes when you go out and you look at the Gen Zs, or what are the youngest ones? The ones
Millennials, aren't they?
Yeah, they've got more pets than babies. Have you noticed that when you go out, you sit in parks and stuff? They're fussing around with their animals. Where when I was that age, it was everyone had the kids. Yeah. It's a bit scary.
No judgment coming from me. Just as an aside, I just literally had to show a millennial how to use a phone in the newsroom. Anyhow, Mad Paws. What does it look like on the numbers?
It's only got 4 years of history. It's still losing a lot of money. I mean, the report was encouraging in that their sales are increasing. Mm-hmm. If you look at it last year, or the last full 12 months report, they lost 10 million on 9.8 million in sales. So I would have thought that was a fairly big gulf to bridge to actually get to profit. They're also talking about EBITDA, which what Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett call bullshit earnings. And I know that everyone uses them, but the reason they say that is because it's like saying taking off tax, taking off appreciation, and we take all these expenses out, and we're breaking even. I know it's a legitimate measure, but what really counts is when do they get to a point of actual net profit or profit per share, which then you can bring a PE into it. Then you can start looking at what the future holds. If I pay a certain amount for it, what's my return likely to be if I have some visibility on what the profitability is? But they're not there yet. So for me, we couldn't. I don't have an opinion. I think their sales are encouraging. They've jumped up solidly, and but until they get to profit, there's no interest to us. We don't need 10 years. We need at least 5.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Well, I've learned something new today.
Well, if this one in 2 years' time, for instance, if they came up with really good numbers, then we would probably start considering it.
Yeah, but it's also, you would discuss it.
That's right. Market cap is also only. What's the market cap?
20 odd mil.
20 mil, yeah. We usually don't look below 150.
Yeah.
And the reason is it's a liquidity issue.
Yeah.
And our members have got about 5 billion invested as a group. So the small members $1 million. So how many Mad Paw shares can you buy without moving the market? Mm-hmm. That's the other side, assuming you wanted to.
Yeah, got it. All right. But isn't this company in the very small end of the market exhibiting some of the characteristics that you want to see, particularly as we move through this sort of paradigm shift in rates?
Yeah, for sure. As you said before, it's got some nice trends behind it. You want to find, for micro-cap businesses, we want businesses that are growing and have the potential to become much bigger. That's why we play in the micro-small cap space. So having the structural tailwinds of the exposures, that pet thematic you were talking about, that's what you're looking for. The way Mark described is actually, I think, how the market's viewing it right now as well, which is let's just sit back and wait. The times when I say this, it was a long time ago, 2021, you were rewarded for taking that sort of risk and getting early into businesses like this, which have the potential to build into something special. But we're at a phase now where the market well and truly is saying, let's take that seat back, let's make sure that growth can continue, you can tip into that inflection point of sustainability and profitability. And after those runs are on the board, that's where we'll step in. And that's been pretty consistent across the whole micro small cap space. So just before we were talking about the sector seeing some confidence and doing well, it's basically been limited to those companies that are profitable and are growing. The rest are still sort of languishing as the market takes a wait and see approach to where they're going. So Mad Paws is still there for me. It is on my watch list because it is one of those marketplace businesses that if they can get that scale and get that traction, they're beautiful. We know that on the ASX, like, car sales, REA, like when you create a good marketplace, they're fantastic. It'll be in a much smaller addressable market, of course. But still, burning $1 million in this quarter, despite the EBITDA and, as Mark's label there of those earnings. 3 in the bank. The other one for me is Bunnings is moving to pet supplies as well, and it's always a little bit, when you see the big gorillas start to move into a space, and obviously they know the thematic behind it as well. I've got it on my watch list, but that's where I keep it for now. If you're there, I'd probably hold it. You're there for the thesis of the growth, which they're giving it to you, and they're pretty close to that inflection. So I wouldn't go selling it now. But if you're on the sidelines, you sit there and you wait for the execution.
Got it.